everybody, to This Is My Bourbon Podcast. I'm your host, Perry, and with me on the opposite side of town, because there's snow hitting us again, it's the Whiskey Mutant. It's Eric.
It's me in the basement by myself. Scared.
I'm in my basement as well, in my office.
I'm so scared right now.
Don't be scared.
I know.
Why are you
Door
scared?
shut. I don't know, man.
Okay, well. Did you just go open the door yourself? You're an adult.
I'm a child.
You're a grown man.
I ain't. When I'm on this podcast, I'm a child again, okay?
But when you're on your own podcast, you are the adult somehow.
Well, I have to hit the buttons on there. This is my time to be free.
You hit buttons today, though. I didn't hit any buttons for you.
Barely.
True.
You told me what to do.
That is true. That is very true. We are recording remotely. We are in the middle of the second round of the snowpocalypse in Lexington, Kentucky. I'm not thrilled about it, but here we are. We got another 3 to 6 inches on the way.
Yeah.
Do with that what you will.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Yeah. But we're fine as far as things can be considered. Excuse me. Eric and I saw each other for about 4 minutes last night, so I could hand off some samples to him for recording.
All it ever takes is 2 or 3 minutes.
That's true.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So if you want 3 to 6 inches or 2 to 3 minutes, go to patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast. For as little as $1 a month, you can support the show. And at $5, you get all the bonus content. We did a bunch of Patreon content before talking. You get all the uncut stuff. You also get access to our Discord. It's just the best place to go get all your Timbip fix.
By the uncut stuff, what he means is you get the early access to this episode and every episode by about a day. And it's uncut, unfiltered. There's usually bonus content over there as well, just for Patreon too. You can go and check all that out. It's a fun time. We like to record stuff that only the Patreon members get to hear, get to listen to, get to enjoy. And if you're also only listening to the audio version, go to the YouTube channel, check the video version out as well.
Yeah, you can see our faces.
You can see us. Yeah, it's fun. I also go live on YouTube every Thursday night, youtube.com/This Is My Bourbon Podcast. I also go live on Twitch simultaneously as well, twitch.tv/MyBourbonGamer. Trying to get to the point where we have subs over on Twitch.
The next Kai Sinet.
Oh, yeah. If I could be the next Kai Cenat, that would be crazy. My life would be different.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be something?
I'd be ISO Speed and you'd be Kai Cenat.
You'd be Luffy and I'd be, I don't know,
Zoro.
Do you think that Kai is Zoro in this scenario?
No. I'm always Luffy.
Yeah, I know, but ISO Speed is like the living embodiment of
I'm talking
Luffy.
about One Piece.
I know, I'm telling you. No, listen to me. Listen to my words. I'm telling you that ISO Speed...
Nami?
ISO Speed is... He is literally living like Luffy. Like, he is just fun and getting to do what his big dreams are and traveling the globe and just like... He's just an amazing human being, full of life, full of laughter, and just like a genuinely good human being. So if you are Speed, if you are
Zoro.
Luffy, I'm just trying to. Never mind.
I love Zoro. He's a badass. I ain't being Sanji though.
That's fine. I don't want to be Usopp either.
No, that's Swan. Usopp is Swan.
Usopp is Swan. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Hey, let's talk about something else for a second real quick before we get too far.
Okay.
In one part of the country, our part of the country, we are stuck inside our houses. In another part of the country, people are having to leave their houses, and many of them are not able to return to their houses because they are gone. As you very well know, much of Southern California is engulfed in flames right now. We have friends and family who live in LA, in Southern California. Of course, Clifton, Bourbon Bites, lives in LA. He and his husband have not been affected by the fires. My cousin and his wife and daughters live out there as well. They have not been affected by the fires. But I keep saying yet, because these fires are very unpredictable. There are new ones that are popping up all the time as well. So I wanted to highlight a couple of ways that you could help some people out, and also highlight somebody who has been affected that is close to the bourbon community as well. And that is the founder of Blue Run, Mike Montgomery. He lost his house in the fires. He is the father to a beautiful girl. Her name is actually Ella, which is the name of my youngest daughter as well. There has not been a GoFundMe that has been set up for him, but there is the opportunity to donate to him directly through his Venmo, which I will include his Venmo handle in the description, both in the YouTube video and the podcast description below. But I'll go ahead and say it here. It's at Mike-Montgomery-11. They have asked that you include for Ella in the notes when you donate. If you can donate, it's however you want to, if you are able to. Again, he is close to the bourbon community. You know, we're huge fans of Blue Run here on the podcast. Anything, you know, you can donate would mean a lot. One of the shows that I talk about a lot, Good Mythical Morning. There's a crew member there. His name, he is a comedian as well, Matt Lieb. His twin sister lost her home in the fires as well. There's a GoFundMe set up for her and her family. I will include the link to that below. There are other GoFundMes. There are other fundraisers, too, that you can donate to as well. The Los Angeles Fire Department, I think it's hold on, let me get it actually correct. The Los Angeles Fire Department Foundation, I've donated to them before during other fires. 100% of the donations go to supporting them. I'll include that link along with a link to a list of other foundations and support groups that you can go to help support not just foundations, but just people who need help during all of this. It's terrible. As of recording, there are 10 people who have lost their lives and over 9,000 structures that have been affected, probably closer to 10,000 at this point. Most of these fires are close to 0% contained, which is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So we just want to support these folks as much as we can. Again, you know, we have a friends and family that live out there. We have listeners who live out there as well. So anything we can do to help support you all in LA, in Southern California, we wanted to make sure that we did that. We know all too well how devastating natural disasters can be in Kentucky. We've raised money time and time again for Kentucky natural disasters, for Southern United States, Southern United States natural disasters too. And so now we want to make sure that we're doing the same for our friends out west right now too. So again, all those links are going to be in the description below. Please, if you are able to, try to help them out. We'll be doing the same as well. I downloaded, because I, again, have friends and family out there. I downloaded the Watch Duty app, DUTY app. And so I'm constantly getting updates on the fires as well as they're happening. And it's just harrowing to see everything that's going on right now. But we're thinking about you. We're trying to help in any way that we can. But I hope that, for the next hour and a half, we can do something to alleviate a little bit of stress, and give you some time to, listen to two morons talk about whiskey for a bit.
One definitely doesn't research a thing. He gets called out all the time.
Yeah, it's fine. It is what it is. But anyway, that's all I had to say about that up top. So we kick off every episode with a segment known as Flying Blind. And this week, we're doing Flying Blind a little bit differently because Eric and I had to scramble to get samples together for each other. Well, I had to scramble to get samples for Eric.
I had to slide up your driveway to get them,
and then down and to get back to your car.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do something quite different, actually, for this episode. Do you want to explain how we're doing this?
Yeah. So we're gonna act like a toddler, and we both, where we sit, you can't see it on screen, but both of us have just little like areas of sample bottles sitting around our desk and stuff that we're just going to grab. We're going to act like a child who just puts their hand in the mashed potatoes. We're just going to grab a sample, not look at it, and we're just both going to talk about what we grabbed and just see what happens from there. We're going to blind ourselves, basically. And that's just what happens when you amass samples that are just sitting around you at all times, and you forget what you have. Yeah.
Yep.
So, on the count of 3, we're going to reach into whatever area that we want to and grab a sample, pour it, and then we'll just see what happens. So, 3, 2, 1, go. Not looking. Yeah, there's definitely something in this sample. All right, I got mine in my hand. Nothing on the top. Don't know what it says. There is a label on it. Hopefully it's not just a number that I would have to find the key for or something like that.
I made sure that I didn't because I've got a bunch of of those kinds of samples on my desk. So I went to a box that's on my floor.
Well, this one
there's also not a lot out of this bottle, so I hope it's not something I didn't like when I first tried it.
And I just turned it around.
Yeah, I'm not looking at it yet.
It at least looks good. I was afraid. I almost thought I would grab something that we messed with that was really bad, and we just should have chucked it and we left it.
Right? Yeah. Oh, if it's one of those Texas ones.
Oh God. Doesn't smell like Texas to me. Actually, it smells pretty good.
Ooh. It smells like maple syrup.
Mine's a cherry bomb. Big cherry candy. Huh? I'm not mad at this. What if this is something really special and I just totally just pour
that would be awesome.
But there's still some left in there. All right.
The first release of George T. Stagg.
Oh, my God. I don't even know I had that. It's just been sitting there for years.
Somebody just casually dropped it there when you weren't paying attention.
They've been listening for like 5 years, and they're like, when's he going to talk about that special sample I sent him?
It's funny you say that because on the opposite end of the spectrum, we did something that I found out we really weren't supposed to do.
What?
A few months ago. So I was on my live stream last night, and I pulled out a bottle that we reviewed.
Yeah.
And I got told by the gentleman that sent it to us that of all the people that he sent this bottle to, we were the only one that reviewed it.
We weren't supposed to?
We weren't necessarily supposed to review the
why
the Woodinville 8-year 100 proof, because it was just kind of for us to enjoy.
Huh. Wow. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, we're too content brained.
Yeah, I know.
So here we go. All right,
well,
let's see what we got here. Cheers.
Huh. Oh. Not a big finish on mine. But
mine really isn't either. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I do like the upfront cherry note because it's still from nose to palate. Big cherry. Cherry like a cherry you'd get on like a milkshake or something. A little bit of whipped cream cherry.
Why are we getting similar notes? The only thing that's
if we grab the same thing, that I would probably just be like, it's it. We can't do anything else.
If we grab the same thing, we have to go buy lottery tickets or something. I don't know.
I mean, for real.
Yeah. I'm genuinely getting this like kind of strawberry milkshake thing going on mine. The only difference is that I'm kind of getting a little bit of that maple note still coming through.
Yeah. Mine's pretty bright.
I think mine might be a rye. Like I'm pretty sure that this has some more rye whiskey characteristics going for it than it does like straight. If it's not a rye, I'd say it might be a high rye bourbon.
See, I'm starting to get that thing though. Look, you know when you drink something really high proof and you can't tell that it's high proof until maybe like the second drink, and you're like,
right?
Oh no, what have I done? I'm kind of getting that. I don't know. This tastes probably like 7 to 9 years. And I think it's a sneaky boy. I think it's a little sneaky on that proof. This could be a high proof or it could be a low proof. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to say right around 110. I don't know. The legs are crazy. I'm going to say like 12-ish years old.
I'm gonna stick to about 115 proof.
Whatever this is, legs. I feel like I should have had it a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
You want to go first?
All right, I'll go first. All right, so here I had it turned this way. It's obviously something that I've rebottled. Oh, mine is a rye.
What is it?
This is one of those bottles that we really like that you got sent. It's Woodcraft rye. What's the one with the wooden label?
That's from Woodwork Collective.
Okay, then did we have a rye from them?
Yeah, but it wasn't called Woodcraft.
Well, I wrote Woodcraft on it. That's what this is.
Okay.
It's very good.
That's hilarious. I thought you were just saying.
No, I in my head I was thinking Woodcraft, but that's what this is. This is the rye.
I understand.
Now. The wood bottle rye.
Yeah. So we didn't grab the same thing then, for sure. Very funny.
Good. Oh man.
I grabbed the Chateau de la Baude version 3.
Chateau de la Solo. Could you tell that was finished?
No. I also can't spell, apparently.
Woodcraft.
This was a bourbon, wasn't it? Wait, is this version? No, version 2. Sorry. I said version 3. Jeez Louise. Holy moly. This was a $250 bourbon.
Which one?
Oh, wait, no, it was $160. I apologize.
The Chateau de Doloba.
Yeah. 12-year-old Kentucky and 10-year-old Tennessee.
Tennessee whiskey.
I was pretty close. 107 proof, 10 and 12-year-old. Finished for an additional 16 months in an Armagnac barrel. Blend of 4 mash blend of 4 mash bills.
Boys.
Mash Boys. The Mash Boys podcast.
Do you have the info on this one?
121 proof, 7 years old.
7 to 9, I think.
Because this was the one that was this is the one that was supposed to be made like the old Willet Rise.
Yeah. That was good.
Yeah. Really great bottle. We actually owe somebody, and we don't know who yet because we were supposed to do a giveaway, a sample of this. So maybe we'll do that before too long.
Nice. So, okay.
Anyway.
Fun.
We need to do that.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that. Tell me, Eric. Oh, ye who have traveled far and wide by both plane, train, and automobile. Well,
oh my God.
Train, but
a monorail.
True, very true. What have you been drinking recently?
Well, as Perry said, I just got back from another trip to Disney, which was fun. Other than getting home, before I go into my pours that I had, my drinks and cocktails, we did end up. Our flight was supposed to land right around the time the snowstorm was probably about an hour or two have started. So we kept getting it's not canceled yet, there's a chance. So we decided that Saturday evening, we kind of closed up Disney a little early, and we rented a car and drove home, canceled the flight. Luckily, since the flight was not technically canceled, but under a weather advisory, we were allowed to get credit. So we basically both have a free flight at the moment. But we drove a rental car home through the night after being up all day at Disney. And it was miserable. We took a nap at a rest stop, and that nap is what eventually caused us to hit the snowocalypse right around, 30 to 40 minutes after it started. So from Knoxville, Tennessee, all the way to my doorstep, I went about 35 miles an hour. And as I was driving, I saw trucks on the side of the road. I saw vehicles flipped upside down.
Oh, no.
We could almost call the people who would speed around us. We were like, something's going to happen. There was at least 2 to 3 cars that a mile or two down the road, we saw them on the side of the road. One truck had jackknifed. Nobody looked like they were injured. Everybody was standing. We kind of slowed down to make sure people were okay. But they definitely were not going to be able to drive their car. Not the greatest drive home ever. So I will say, me and April have, if you listen to the Disney podcast, you may know that this week's episode's a little delayed. We came straight back to this and our kids being off school and trying, with my job, I kind of got a lot of extra stuff going on when there's things like this happening. So we haven't really had a chance to take it all in because we went straight from Disney to that. So we have, I'm still reflecting on everything because we left kind of in a hurry. So while I was there, had a lot to drink, as you would when you enjoy yourself at a,
not a bad thing.
Do what?
Well, not a bad thing, but we'll, I have a small topic before we get to our review.
Okay.
Too.
But, as we do at Disney on an adult-only trip, just me and my wife, we like to have drinks. And once again, I will preface, if you think that Disney is just for kids and you've never been, you're like, I don't want to go there. It's just a bunch of cartoon, blah, blah, blah. It is not. There is plenty for you to do, especially if you enjoy cocktails and bourbon and things like that. So let's run down the list here as I remember it. So I took some pours with me on my travel bag, in my bag. I had some Larceny Barrel Proof. I had one of the Rare Character Exceptional. I had Old Forester Rye Barrel Proof. And I had 1792 bottled in bond. So that was kind of my hotel pours, or as I like to get up in the morning and pour them in a little cup and hide them in my coffee cup as I'm walking into the parks. Because that's allowed when you're at
my
Disney.
man.
But as far as Disney drinks go, at Hollywood Studios the first day, you know the first drink I got to have that mutant cold brew, baby. We went straight to Joffrey's coffee stand before we got in line for one of the rides. And I had shaken Jamaican cold brew, but instead of like all the stuff they put in there, you put some Baileys and you put a double shot of Irish whiskey in it, and it gets you going. I'm just repeating myself most of these things, but that's what it is. Also got to grab a little bit of Buffalo Trace while I was in the park, because a lot of the drink stands, they have a lot of mixed drinks, but you can ask for neat pours of stuff. And if you look back there, they'll have Knob Creeks, they'll have Buffalo Trace, stuff like that. So I got some Buffalo Trace. Now, the one cocktail that is one of my go-tos, it's called the Smoked Turkey. It is actually a Turkey 101 cocktail. And I've never got it to go, but we were kind of like, that first day we got straight to Hollywood. We went straight to Hollywood at like noon. So we weren't really doing any sit-down stuff until the end of the day. So I grabbed a smoked turkey to go, and it just wasn't the same as normal. Me and Perry talked about this on Patreon. We think it probably was just, it's not meant to be in a plastic cup. It's meant to be smoked, come out to your table, sit in a glass, all that. So not the best experience with one of my favorite cocktails. But I will say, if you're in Disney, most of the resort bars and some of the restaurants have a smoked turkey. It's delicious. There's also a Russell's 10 cocktail in Animal Kingdom called the Tempting Tigress. So it's cool to see wild turkey used in cocktails. We ended Hollywood at the Brown Derby, and that's probably your best place to get like legit cocktails, like solid ice cube. We both just got their normal old fashioned, and I got a pour of, I was texting Perry this as he was probably on his live stream. And I said, what is Booker No, like, what did I say? Booker No 24 or something?
Let me look at it.
And, cause on the menu, it was like Booker No something.
What is Booker No 126?
126. I was like, is there a special thing? Well, turns out me and Perry figured it out. It's just Booker's. It was a batch
Booker's.
It's Booker's. It was a batch that was 126. So I had a pour of Booker's and old fashioned, which honestly the price wasn't too bad, and you don't always get a 126 proof pour at Disney. So I had that. The next day was kind of our resort day. I did get to try a new cocktail. Well, it's an old fashioned, but it's a new old fashioned that I've never had. And it was, me and April both agreed that it was probably one of our favorite cocktails. It was a banana old fashioned. Now let me pull this up here. There's a new resort building at the Polynesian. It's like the Polynesian Tower, and they have a restaurant bar, and I got these crispy like Asian wings there that were in this like Asian slaw. Oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. So this banana old fashioned, I have one gripe, and I suggested it to him, and the only gripe was that they use a solid ice cube, because they use
instead of like.
They use just cubed ice. I was like, so this banana old fashioned, Michter's single barrel rye, Tempest Spirits Creme de Banane. So it's like I guess a banana liqueur, Appleton Estate 8-year reserve rum, St. Elizabeth Allspice Dram Liqueur, Angostura bitters. So rum, Michter's Rye single barrel, banana liqueur, an allspice liqueur, and bitters. And they had like a banana chip, like the little the accessory. What would you call it? The garnish on it. It was like a banana chip. This is one of the best old fashions out there, especially. It
sounds incredible.
So yeah, it's so good. It's at the let's see. I want to make sure I say the name right.
The Waialulu?
Yes, Waialulu.
I'm pulling it up right now because I'm so curious.
And they have, the next time I want the ribs, because they have like some barbecue ribs on their menu and stuff like that. But definitely one of my highlights drink wise was a new drink that was just amazing. Also had a big pour at Disney Springs of Disney's Parks and Resorts pick, Knob Creek.
Sorry, I just found a picture of the chicken wings.
Mm-hmm.
They look so good.
Yeah, delicious. So got some Parks and Resorts Knob Creek. This was a 10-year pick that was just phenomenal. It was peanut butter bacon, I believe I said. We also had some great old fashions at Topolino's Terrace. They used, what did they use? I think they used I got the Knob Creek. I got a Knob Creek pick old fashioned up there. They asked me what I want. I said, "Do you have that Knob Creek single barrel?" And they didn't charge me extra. It was just the same as the old fashioned. So
that's great. Awesome.
We went to the Enchanted Rose, had one of the seasonal old fashions there. The next day was kind of our park day. So at Epcot, I got to get the corn old fashioned, baby. Corn old fashioned at La Cava del Tequila. If you've been to Epcot, the margaritas outside are great, but if you have time you may have to stand in a line, but go inside the pyramid and have a pour or a margarita or whatever inside La Cava del Tequila. They usually it's like a rye whiskey and a tequila put together, and it will get you going. Also had my favorite cocktail at Japan, which was the what am I trying to say? The violet sake, which is like this purple sake cocktail. And the last pour I had was just a nice pour of Knob Creek at the American Pavilion. And that ended my evening when we realized that we were going to have to rent a car. So,
because I texted you too, or when we were kind of texting about your trip home, I was asking, how quickly did you have to sober up?
Right. Well, yeah. The thing was, like, we purposely stopped. In April, I had only had a few cocktails to begin with. So we had dinner, we ate, filled our bellies. We had to walk, we had to get a lift, we had to go back to by the time we got the rental car, it was almost 11 o'clock that night. And she took the first leg anyway, so I took a nap so we were very safe about it. But man, I was ready to go. I was like, normally, we would have been staying one more night, and I was going to get up and get beignets and all this stuff. So our trip was cut just a little bit short, but we made the best of it. And if you follow the podcast Instagram, we posted a lot of stuff, and we'll recap our trip as well on the next episode when we get that one out. So,
and you're talking about Small Disney Podcast, not
it's a Small Disney podcast,
not the 10-bit podcast.
No,
Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Just wanted to clarify for
just
everybody.
Go to both of them. Follow them all.
Yeah. Well, yeah, go follow. Yeah, at my Bourbon Pod at it's a Small Disney Podcast.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Anyway, made me. I mean, I'm just ready to go back to Disney too.
We already booked our family trip because
I saw, man. I saw.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tip. If you go, if you can figure out when you're going to go again, you have about 7 days to rebook, and you get a big discount. And that's
what do they call it? Like bounce back pricing or
bounce
something?
Bounce back offer. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, it's a great, like, hook 'em and cheat 'em is not the right way to put that, but that's the way it kind of feels. Though, it's like,
I get it.
You know, like you just got off of the trip, and like you're just off of that Disney high, too.
Yeah.
Like, it's the perfect way to get people back in to like, you know, you know that people are, you know,
they're ready to go,
ready to take that next hit of Disney magic.
Yeah,
and it's good timing. Anyway, I can't wait to hear more about because I'm a regular listener of the podcast as well. Like, I don't just hear about everything, you know, through you and April. I listen to the actual podcast as well, because, you know, Lucy and I are avid Disney people too. And so I like hearing your all's perspective on park visits as well. And, you know, it just is a fun way for me to, you know, there's only so much time that you and I have to talk.
Yeah.
And there's only, you know, it's a nice way for, you know, for me to connect as well when we can't, you know, while I'm
April
working.
April loves looking at baby and little kid clothes, because she knows she's been, oh my God, Eden would be so cute. Like, she doesn't have that anymore. Like, so she uses your kids to like look at baby stuff. So anyway.
It's awesome. So it's been 2 weeks. I knew it was coming. I just knew it was coming. It's been 2 weeks since you and I have recorded. So a lot has happened since then. First of all, I should have said this up front. I didn't realize when we recorded last that the first episode of the new year was actually going to be our best of episode. So us two idiots kept going, oh, the first episode of the new year is going to be our live episode with Kenny. Sorry.
That's what you get. That's what you get here. Sorry. You get us. You know, we're not always going to be right.
No, and we were extremely wrong on that one. So I had New Year's Eve that I went to, which was a rager with a 3-month-old, a 4-year-old, and a 6-year-old, and our friends Brandy and Micah. We basically just hung out and ate pizza and drank bourbon.
That sounds amazing.
For most of the evening, and watched the ball drop. Came home, and that was the evening, honestly. And I couldn't have asked for much better. Continued my holiday trick of bringing the 15 stars platinum bottle and being like, "Do you want to try $300 bourbon?"
Got a expensive bottle of bourbon.
Yeah, exactly.
Baby.
And of course, it's like, yeah, of course I want to try $300 bourbon. When else am I going to be able to do that? And still popular. You know, the bottles. I'm surprised that there's still any left.
Don't ever change.
Why? What do you mean?
No, I want you to always do that. Like, I want that to be your party trick.
Bringing free bottles that we get around to people
that are $300+.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to. I didn't spend any money on it. It's, you know, we've done the due diligence of like trying it on content.
Baby. Don't change.
I'm going to. I mean, otherwise, it's been kind of quiet. I have been drinking through my Christmas presents. I grabbed a Knob Creek pick from Total Wine that was pretty good. I mean, really, I ran to go see Chad yesterday so I could get our Christmas samples from Tony as well. One of which we had
controversial.
One of which we had on Patreon this week.
Delicious
too, which was unbelievably good. You go check that out on Patreon, please. And he Chade handed me off a couple more rare character bottles, and I can't obviously show them on screen, but they're very good. I'll show one, but I won't show the full bottle. I'll just show the wax on it because it's so. Can you see this? Can you see how messed up the wax is on this?
Yes.
It's a TKO, and it kind of looks like it got punched in the nose one too many times.
Yeah, that's perfect bottle to give one of us. Something
just
that
give away.
You don't want in on the shelf on that one.
Yeah, exactly. But it's very good. Eric, I will tell you what I have also been drinking recently, and that's my daily dose of Magic Mind. Magic Mind is a mental performance elixir meant to help you reclaim your brain with their magic formula of real ingredients and magic properties. January's been the perfect time for me to get recentered and refocused in my work and personal life, and there's no better way to do that than with Magic Mind. I've been drinking Magic Mind recently alongside my morning coffee to help me stay focused during my early mornings with my day job and my late nights editing the podcast. And I'll be honest with you, my workflow has never been more efficient. Magic Mind is doctor validated with over 10 years of development and hundreds of recipe iterations and over 200 scientific studies behind every ingredient. And they also donate 5 cents of each bottle sold to mental health charities that help homeless communities in the U.S., and they are 100% carbon neutral. And they also ship internationally to over 65 countries. And of course, we here at Timbip are incredibly cognizant of mental health, and we want to, of course, always try to uplift mental health opportunities in any way we can. So Magic Mind is awesome, and we appreciate all the work that they do with folks like that. Magic Mind's helped bring me less stress, more focus and clarity, and a massive increase in steady energy throughout my day. And we actually want to offer you, the listener, the chance to try their productivity shots and their brand new sleep elixir too. This is brand new. They just came out with it, actually. So if you just go to the link in our podcast description and also the YouTube video description below, or head to magicmind.com/bourbonpodjan. That's magicmind.com/bourbonpodjan. You can get 45% off your Magic Mind 24-hour pack of focus and sleep shots. And we appreciate our friends at Magic Mind for supporting Timbip, and we hope you check out what they're doing, not just for us, but for your mental health and wellness. Anyway, before we get to the review, I wanted to bring something up. So this happened within, like, as of recording, the past week. Okay. The U.S. Surgeon General, and I don't know if you've seen this, heard this, read about this, or anything, just issued a new advisory on the link between alcohol consumption and the risk of cancer.
I have not read this.
Okay. This comes from Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy. Basically, it is just indicating that there is an increased risk with regular an increased risk for cancer with regular consumption of alcohol. Right. I think it's like 7 different types of cancer, and the way that it seems to be phrased is kind of in the same way that the guidance on smoking was, however many years ago, where they had to put the Surgeon General's warning on cigarettes. And I think it was 2 Ounce Whiskey on Instagram, who is also a health practitioner, did a story or did a reel or something about it, and he was talking about how it puts him in a weird spot, being a health professional. And I wanted to and I'm not trying to lead you to a point of, especially since you're just now getting some of this information, right? But what are your first thoughts on this? Does this kind of change your output as or your outlook as a quote unquote whiskey or alcohol influencer in any way, while also being a medical professional?
Well, I always like to kind of separate those two. Kind of we don't really advertise a lot what I do. But that's not to say I don't have my knowledge and I use it. I guess my thing is I treat it like almost everything. You always want to be safe. You always want to use moderation, things like that. And I'm not trying to look over and be oh, it's not. I know. I mean, there are risks, not just cancer. I mean, there's.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's not surprising to me that it's linked to that. But also, there's a lot of other things that people do as far as food and caffeine and sugar that are just, somebody can't be well, you drink alcohol, you're unsafe, when they turn around and they eat grease and the same stuff that can cause just as bad things to happen. I don't know. I think that at the end of the day, people have their choices and they are allowed to do what they want. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's true. I want everybody to be healthy and safe. And we know our hobby is not the healthiest thing, and it can spiral out of control, and there are negatives to it. But it's also a choice, and we all take the risk when we have alcohol, and it's up to us to not let it get the best of us. So, maybe I would think about it a little bit more, less pours, enjoying what I have, but I don't know necessarily that it would change the way I'm doing it, because I feel like what I do works for me. So that's just it. I mean, there's a risk with anything. I mean, we stop drinking and we start eating more. There's a risk with that. You stop doing this, you add more sugar. So I don't know. And then things are just natural. I personally don't want to just be someone that's always worried about everything, because I feel like as soon as I stop doing one thing, there could be something just naturally happen to me that I had no control over.
Yeah.
And
for sure. For sure.
I want to live to be long. I want to live to be old and see my kids grow up and stuff like that. So I don't want to do anything to speed it up. So, just being a little bit mindful of maybe I don't need another pour tonight, or maybe I'll take a break for a couple of days and just have a couple pours on the weekend. I think that's the thing. And I don't want something to make me live in fear that I enjoy, I guess you would say. And if I start seeing early signs of something, then yes, of course, I'm going to be like, you got to stop and do all that. I just try to be safe with it. And I think that's everybody's choice. So I don't know if that's a good answer or not.
No, I think it is. I was, again, not trying to like lead you one way or another with you.
I will talk about this stuff all day. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It just mostly was like, there's so many different, you're right, like factors of consumption, whether passive or active, that we participate in that do harm us, and it's like we just don't fully know one way or another what's really doing.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too, because you hear all these stories about these older people who lived. She lived to be 105, and she drank a glass of whiskey or a glass of wine every day. Like,
yeah,
I always want to be smart, and I always want to try to be healthy, but I also don't want to just be like, I can't eat a cheeseburger today because it's probably going to make me have a heart attack, or, I can't have a glass of whiskey today because tomorrow I'm going to get cancer. I don't know. I'm already at a high risk for stuff. I have Crohn's disease. I'm at a high risk for colon cancer. I could not drink anything for the rest of my life and still end up having colon cancer or something. I don't know. Like, I think it's just, it's a very individual choice. I don't think anybody should be made to feel bad. If they do, I do think that if you notice, a friend, a family member, or a family member notice that you are overdoing it, I think they have the right to tell you to slow down, or
absolutely.
You're going to. But I don't think anybody should ever, as someone who enjoys a few pours of whiskey every couple of nights or whatever, I don't think anybody should be like, that's horrible. You're doing, that's your choice. And don't let anybody make you feel bad for it unless you are in a bad spot.
And I mean, it's a larger conversation that I'm not like, I'm not prepared to have at this moment, and not one that I necessarily care to have either.
Yeah.
Maybe right now.
I think articles like this they're a good, like, bring you back down. I mean, it's the holidays. We've all been having fun and stuff, and you read something like that. But
sure.
You know what? Maybe I get back to my, spacing things out, having a few less here and there and stuff like that. Get me back on a good track. I think.
And it also... It also seems like there's a lot of, like, this is trying to show people who may just not be as aware of the adverse effects of drinking.
Yeah.
That there are some that exist.
There are. I mean, unfortunately, there are.
Yeah. And so, I think that we, being in this space, are hyper aware of it. And so we already are kind of like, when this kind of research comes out, we're like, yeah, we kind of knew that already. And it's not like we're going, why are you telling us this? We have to kind of take a step back and go, oh, we understand. Or we have to be a little bit more realistic about why this, these pieces of literature exist. Because they are trying to be a more generalized educational, piece for people. So yeah, I kind of wanted to get your take on it.
Yeah, I never want to be on here telling people how and what to do. I think it's a very personal choice, and I'd say just be safe, just moderation, be safe, and don't ever feel bad if you got to ask for help. And I'll leave it at that.
First review of the year.
Oh, boy.
And we have to do it apart from each other.
Well,
Old Man Winter.
It'll only make us stronger when we get back together.
That's true.
It only makes me love you even more.
Absence makes the heart grow
fonder.
Hornier. What?
A horn? What? That's true. I know that's for a fact.
So you may notice that we're skipping over the second batch here, but oh well. What are we gonna do? We are moving right along to Rare Character Limited Release Batch 3 Bourbon.
Ooh.
New llama. New
llama. Same
mama? Drama?
New llama, same drama.
New llama, same drama. I love that, actually. Yeah. This guy is 125.68 proof. No age statement or anything. I'm not even entirely sure what went into this. We don't have the benefit of having old Shade on the podcast with us this time around either.
It's just Rare Character Limited Batch 3 bourbon. That's all we got to know.
Ooh. It was deep. Did you even hear that?
I gotta say, yeah, I did. I gotta say, Perry punked me really good. Because I grabbed all the samples that we were using for the day, got in my car, started driving. April was driving. I was just kind of looking at the stuff he handed me. And he put this sample in a bottle that formerly had some whiskey in it from a barn that's hidden.
Eric's favorite place in the world.
Yeah. And I knew for a moment he did that on purpose.
I mean, maybe a little bit, but the good news for you, dadgummit. Sounds like a delivery truck's out there. Anyway, dogs are barking. Anybody who is a longtime listener of the show knows that this is not an uncommon thing. Marie!
Throwback.
Anyway,
I know that the glass vessel was cleaned. It had other whiskey in it before. Then it was cleaned out. But it's just funny when I saw that. I was like, you little.
So these are special bottles. You know, I have become more and more a huge fan of these releases. Not just, oh, look at you with your fancy little Rare Character glass. I've got my Whiskey Ring podcast glass.
Oh, Dave.
Not just because we know the guy who put it together, of course, but they're just very enjoyable pours to reach for.
I mean, they made them into our top of 2024.
Well, yeah, of course. Go back and listen if you haven't yet. Regardless, too, I think that each batch, well, and I mean, you know, this is the third one, which we haven't tried yet. But between the first two batches, they definitely got better one after one. And I think that the rye batches as well were even better than the bourbon batches, too.
Really good.
Yeah.
I think if you've heard us talk about these before, and we kind of mentioned this on our best of, I said that 1 and 2 were both really good. 2 was my favorite so far because 1 was a very I think it could be enjoyed by multiple people, whether, you know, no matter what your preference in flavors are. And 2, I felt like stepped it up a little bit. It was a little bit more like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Like, you know, maybe somebody might think it's a little bit too much or something like that. But it was still approachable to anybody. So I'm curious to see what number 3 here is going to be like. So
yeah, let's check out the nose.
All right. Ooh. Honey bun.
Little spicy cherry, too.
It's got, It's got some cherry on it, but it's some kind of like baked good.
For sure.
Smells really good.
I'm
Smells
getting
like a
this
bakery.
I'm getting this like fresh baked bread for sure.
Mm-hmm. I say mine has a little bit more sweetness in it, kind of like a sweet cinnamon bread or something like that. But I do get that cherry that you're talking about too. But very, very baking bread, bakery nose. All right.
I'll be honest with you. This is the best nose out of the 3 of the batches.
Yeah, I love this nose.
Yeah. All right, homie.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Damn. Oh, there's so much icing. There's so much frosting on the finish. And it's the honey bun, but if you've seen the ones in the gas station that have the big, thick thing of icing on it.
Right.
If there was a little bit of cherry in that icing. Damn. That finish. I'm telling you that maybe it's the proof. I mean, it tastes like it's a straight from the barrel.
I'm really feeling it in my gums. It drinks higher than the 125 proof, I think.
Do you know what popped in my head? And this is no joke. It just popped in my head. This reminds me of when I liked Booker's.
100%.
And, I'm not going to try to guess what's in this. I know Chade has a very wide variety of things he could blend in this, but this reminds me of when I liked Booker's. It reminds me of this high proof batch of whiskey that you could always like count on, and then eventually kind of went away and you started didn't like it. This reminds me of like a Kentucky Chew. Like, those batches of Booker's. And, I don't know however else to explain it that way. Like, if you haven't liked Booker's in a while, and you want a 120 plus, what's the proof on this?
125.68. Yeah.
There you go. I'm sure it's close to the same years. Maybe, it could be a little older. I don't know. But, yeah, this is better than Booker's.
It's so big. I mean, it's a huge flavor profile.
I love that finish, man. It's like eating a spoon of icing.
I can't get over how just like decadent it is.
And it's so baked. Like, I can smell this sitting right in front of me. And it is like a sweet bread, like a sweet bakery bread, like a sweet roll or something like that. Yeah, this is good.
I'm getting more and more of that, like, honey bun thing, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. As it sits, and you go back a few times. Yeah.
I'm happy we started
off strong.
Thank goodness. I was just about to say that. What did we start off last year with? That awful dry January podcast where we did all the non-alcohol.
Yeah. I still have some of that stuff sitting upstairs that it expires. The only alcohol I've ever seen expire.
Yeah, you got to, because it's no alcohol in it. You got to throw it away after a while.
Yeah.
Ugh, nasty.
I'm happy about this. I like it a lot, and I can't describe it any more than some kind of frosted honey bun, bakery sweetbread. However you want to take that.
Do you think this was the mutant batch?
Maybe this is the mutant limited batch. Now I do want a honey bun. I want to do a pour over on honey bun.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I wonder when the Pear Bear batch is going to happen.
The Pear Bear batch. What would if you said, make it taste like this, what would the Pear Bear batch be?
I don't know, because I don't feel like I have as specific of a flavor profile that I
feel like you would want more of like a savory, saucy type pour. Like you are big into spices, kind of more savory to sweet, not just straight up desserts.
Yeah. With like more,
more seafood chips that I hate.
No, what are you talking about?
You love those things.
I do, but I don't necessarily want that on my whiskey.
If it's just for you.
You know what I would, you're right. Something darker for sure. Mm-hmm. Leaning more towards the oakier side. More chocolate, more of like a darker caramel flavor. French vanilla, red fruit, balanced out with a little bit of sweetness, honey.
Yeah.
Closer to like maybe like honeycomb, honeysuckle.
Yeah.
That realm.
No big deal. No, that's easy.
Yeah, sure it is. Yeah, just,
take all that shade and make it into a whiskey.
It feels like making a dessert bourbon is easier to do than what I'm
Hey, Chad, make me an oatmeal cream pie. Okay.
Do you think what
you're
would
like,
be...
I want a 5-course meal. I want it to go from honey to savory.
I want it to be paired perfectly with Wagyu steak.
I want it to be like I'm biting into a fresh honeycomb from a bee hive that has been sitting in the forest for decades. Oh, all this stuff. You're like, okay, that's what I want.
I feel like you could achieve a fair amount of this by taking, some of these flavors in a bourbon and double barreling it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm no expert. I don't know what I'm talking about.
One day we'll get you there.
Maybe not. If not, I'm happy just drinking good whiskey.
If not,
honestly,
just drink this because it's delicious.
Yeah. I'll just keep getting these random KOAs. Oh, yeah. You know what? You know what I can talk about because it got announced in the Bluegrass Barrel Pickers group. Is the stats on our KOA pick?
Oh, the one you got to help with.
Yeah. So, excuse me. We tasted through 6 different barrels, and the one that we landed on was a hazmat KOA, which for anybody who doesn't know is a Kentucky bourbon. Mm-hmm. And it came out to 141.5 proof and 9 years old. And where's my sample of it? Here's my sample. However much is left of it, and I'm so incredibly excited about it.
I can't wait. I'm gonna have to secure me a bottle of that.
Our Patreon community, for the folks who are on our Discord, which, by the way, if you're on our Patreon, that's the only way that you have access to our Discord as well. When I get my allocation of that pick, I'm going to do a little giveaway for a 100 ml sample of that as well.
Cool.
Because it's too good not to share with some folks. But anyway, back to this.
Yeah, back to this.
Wonder if this has any KOA in it.
Speaking of, may never know.
Speaking of Bluegrass Barrel Pickers, I'm splitting a bottle with my
I
green.
Heard. Yeah, because it's going to go in this bottle down here.
Yeah.
It's going to go in this little empty bottle that he's got to pick up because he goes, you got any of them? I don't want to buy anything off Amazon. I was like, you know what? I guess.
Do you know the stats on it? On
what?
The bottle that he and I are splitting?
I thought it was the same one.
No, it's a
different.
The same one?
No,
it's different.
Okay, because he said Yeah, he didn't tell me in the stats. He just needed this is what he needed.
Yeah.
So
no, it's an almost 150 proof, like almost 10-year-old bourbon.
Damn.
It's crazy. I'm very excited for it. But I was like, I don't need to spend all that money, and I don't need to have all that proof around. So
shout out to Mike Green. Sorry about the Bengals.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna
Go
do?
Bills.
Go Bills. Hopefully, by the time this comes out, the first playoff game will be over.
That reminds me. We need to talk about Super Bowl plans.
Super Bowl
too. But anyway, we'll get to that. Do we want to go ahead and review this? Do we spend enough time with it? Or okay.
I think so. Cool. I mean, I'm just loving it. I'm
just having a good time hanging out. It's just vibes, man. Just straight vibes. We normally review, and not normally, we do just review whiskeys on the show with our system of nose, palate, finish, and price. Each category is out of 5 with a final score out of 20. And we're going to go ahead and do that here.
Let's do it.
Eric, what would you give the nose on this guy?
4.5. I think that it is. Good. I think if this will be a 5. I feel like if I was getting more of that like thicker nose, like it's got a great nose. I do think it could be a little bit thicker, but I know we're not like working with like a 17-year, product in this, just a straight up 17-year single barrel. But man, I would smell this all day. It smells like a honey bun bakery sweet roll thing. And it's definitely one you could just keep smelling for a while.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I think it could use a little bit more darkness to it as well. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 on the nose. Palate.
I'm still the same. I think it's a 4.5. I'm almost at a 5. I think like you're saying, like it's pretty. If it had a little bit more syrupy note to me, it's got a great finish, which I'll talk about. You get more icing on the palate. You can definitely tell the proofs there. I think give me that little bit of more like thick, like I hate like bringing other products into this, kind of like a thick, like stag, like, cola maple syrup type thing in there. This will be a 5. It's just, I just need it to be a little bit more thick. Other than that, I mean, it's a 4.5. It's damn near perfect.
Yeah, that's going to be a 4.5 for me as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that finish though, Eric. That finish.
5.
That's a 5, man.
It's 5.
It's
what the palate lacks. Like you get more flavor on the finish. Like you get a long finish. It's heavy. And you get a little bit more of your notes from that finish. Like I get the cherry icing on this honey bun when I come back through the finish. But the thing about it is I love a long finish. But this one isn't too long to where I have to like take a big break. Like it's like the perfect length of a finish.
Right.
If that makes sense. Like, okay, yeah. I'm ready to go back for another pour or another sip. And you get even more. Like the third sip, you're like, okay, now we're in a bakery, and it's freaking, a little bit more cinnamon in this thing. I don't know. I think the finish is the superstar of this pour.
It just, I just keep wanting to go back for another sip every single time that I have a little drink of it. It's inviting. It's fresh. It's so of its own self. And I think you're right too, that even though there are just these like hints of like It reminds us of old Booker's batches.
Yeah.
It still just is like its own animal.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it.
It's
I
great.
love it. $100 price point.
Easy 5. I'll pay $150 for this.
I'm not mad about $100 for this, especially
No.
considering like some of the other rare character products that are out there, which these single barrels usually range from like 125 to 150.
That's what I'm saying. Like this is a batch product that tastes just as good as the single barrels, which the single barrels are priced higher. Like,
yeah,
this, I don't know, man. Like
that's such a good point too, though. That Chad was able to achieve with a batched product the same level of quality that you get with those single barrels.
So we've had single barrels. We've had Brook Hills. We've had samples of Pride. We've had exceptional. We have bottles of this stuff. And it's just
the whole schmear.
The whole thing. And this could have easily been put in one of those bottles that's way more expensive, but it wasn't. So I cannot say anything less than a 5 on this, because this could have easily been put in a single barrel. Well, not a single barrel. Sorry. This could have easily been put in like a Brook Hill or something that's automatically more expensive. And it's not.
Yeah.
And this is a wide, whatever area gets this release, you have a chance to get it. Like, it's not just a club pick or, a club Brook Hill or just something that's only at a certain store. And like I said, I think this is a Booker's killer. I mean, you can quote me on that, 2025.
Ooh.
Everybody stag killer, all that. Put me down. Quote it.
Timbip 2025 hot take of the year.
Rare character, doing marketing, batch 3, Booker's killer.
Ooh.
And then put the little dash Whiskey Mutant on there. And then Perry agrees. This is my Bourbon Podcast. The biggest, like, what?
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, you agree.
I actually 100% agree with you.
The who said this is bigger than the actual quote of the thing. I don't know. If you have a chance to get this, you better freaking get it.
Yeah. This is a 5 out of 5 on the price as well.
Yeah.
I'm half a point lower than you on my score, which is, splitting hairs at that point. But
19. I just gave this thing a 19.
I'm an 18.5 out of 20. That's bananas.
B8
it's crazy.
NAS.
I'm absolutely blown away by this. And it's so funny too, because I feel like, on our Patreon episode this week, Samply Irresistible, we had the 2024 King of Kentucky single barrel. And I felt like I had more to say about this than I did that.
I know I did.
Just saying. I don't know.
I don't know what market it gets delivered to. I don't know if you have a chance to get it. I've seen people post them getting the limited releases and the batches. We've had friends somebody posted one getting it. Who was that in the Discord that got one? It was batch 1, I think.
Oh,
was that under hunting?
Was it Brandon Stevens?
Yep, Brandon Stevens.
Yeah, it was Brandon Stevens.
One.
Yeah.
So it's out there. You're going to be able to you'll have a chance to get this, and there you go. It may not be in a box, but it's better than Booker's.
Eric, you're never going to believe it, but we don't have any barrel rings this week. It's okay though. It's all right. I hadn't fully grappled with how I was going to do it over Zoom anyway. So
maybe everybody knew. Maybe they knew this was going to happen.
Maybe they did.
Like,
I would have just played it. So I had it set up so you would have been able to hear it. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway.
859-428-8253. You can call, text.
Do it.
I mean, maybe we retire in 2025. Nobody gives it a chance. Do you want to be responsible for this, listeners, watchers? Do you want to be responsible for the end of Barrel Rings?
Don't be. It's a great segment. It's fun. You can participate and be part of the show. Leave us a text message or leave us a voicemail.
I don't know about them, but I always want to be on podcasts, and look at me now. But this is your way to start. I'm on two. Starting one of my own.
High proof hot takes?
I don't really have anything. I mean, the snow.
It sucks.
As fun as snow days are, snow days are not fun as an adult. That's all I'm going to say when you have responsibilities. So if you're a child listening to this podcast, which you shouldn't be.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Then snow days are good. Adult snow days are bad.
It's still not really snowing all that hard right now either, which is crazy. But anyway, tips and bits though.
Tips and bits, the portion of the show where we recommend something we've been watching, reading, listening to, playing, video games, movies, stuff like that. Or it could be whiskey related. We pretty much usually save this segment for stuff other than whiskey. I'll start. I recently became really interested. I didn't recently become. So I learned about an unsolved mystery probably several months ago on a podcast that I've talked about before, Stuff You Should Know. And Netflix recently had a new documentary about some unsolved mysteries, and they brought this back up, and it made me realize how much I enjoyed the story. Now I've listened to a podcast about it. Now I'm listening to a book on tape about it. So I'm pretty much just trying to be a detective right now and solve this mystery that happened in 1978. So I am very intrigued about the Yuba County Five. Have you ever heard about this?
I have heard about this. Yeah.
Yes. The Yuba County Five is basically an unsolved mystery right now about a group of 5 young men who basically disappeared, and a bunch of crazy stuff happened, and they still don't really know why it happened. So Stuff You Should Know did an episode on it. You just search this. There's actually a podcast called the Yuba County 5 Podcast that has about 7 episodes and a couple of bonus episodes. And then Netflix just put out a new documentary about this as well, about an hour-long episode in like a series. But it really, to me, it's not your normal just like, ooh, a mystery happened. There's a lot of like, what the hell? What happened? And I think the thing that gets me is because it's kind of heartbreaking and mysterious. It's got every element. These they called them boys, but they were actually men. They were in their 20s. But unfortunately, back in the 70s, people probably weren't as aware of like mental disorders and stuff. So a lot of
they definitely were not.
No. So a lot of what happened with this investigation probably got kind of like on the back burner because it was just like 5 hard R word, lost in the woods. And so people probably just thought, well, because they're that's what happened. This took place in Northern California, and they were on their way to watch their favorite basketball team play at a college, a straight shoot down the road. And these, one of these gentlemen was able to drive. They were just, in today's age, you'd probably say maybe one of them was autistic. One of them had a learning disability. One of them just had like the mentality of like 16-year-old. They were all friends, functional, able to do things. But they love basketball, and they actually were on like a community basketball team, which was going to participate in the Special Olympics the day before. They found out their favorite like college basketball team was playing an hour from their town. They all took a trip up there, and for whatever reason, on their drive home, they decided to go 60 miles in the wrong direction up into the hills, and were eventually found, not alive, 12 miles in a random place in like a cabin. And it is so intriguing to me because I keep listening to this, and I've listened to the different perspective and different theories and stuff like that on what happened. And part of me is mad because I don't think, from what I can tell, they took it as serious, because maybe they just blew it off, but due to their mental capacity. But then also, there's just this kind of like me as like a horror fan and somebody who likes the unknown. Like, there's something that made them go up there.
Right.
Based on everything that is told, they would have never just went there by themselves. So I don't want to give anything away if anybody wants to get into this, but just search Yuba County 5, whether on the internet, Netflix, podcast, all that. And just, if you get down the rabbit hole of this and you want to talk about it, just message me, because, man, I have been nonstop listening to different things about this, and it's part heartbreaking, part mysterious, part like just detective style stuff. And it's still, I will spoil this, they still don't know why. And one of the bodies has never been found. But nobody knows why at this point, what made them go up into this hill. So I don't know. I'm on a very like Yuba County 5 kick right now.
That's crazy.
So there you go.
I got a couple of things. The first one, I'm going to share this with you, and it'll make it to the video. Okay. So these are
what? You just scrolled up, and I
scrolled up a little bit. This is related to your recent trip.
Oh, that's awesome.
And these came out a year and a half ago, and they're expensive. But Fender guitars salvaged some wood from Disneyland and made guitars out of them.
That's
and
awesome.
They are legit some of the coolest looking guitars I have ever seen.
And the headline says smells as good as they look.
Which is just so cool. If you're not watching the video version, I'm sharing with Eric the video. Or excuse me, I'm sharing with Eric the
website.
The website, yeah. Just showing him what they look like. So you can check that out, or you can just go search for it, check it out. It's just called
Stratocaster. That
California
second one.
Yeah. Oh no, the second one is just killer. Let me see if I can. Nope, go away. Please stop. Beautiful. And I'm a Strat guy anyway. But I mean, if I got any of them, and these are like $10,000 guitars, so
that's crazy.
Probably more than that, honestly. But that would have been the one that I would have gone for. But they just look super, super cool. And I had it in my like notes app to bring it up on the podcast for a while, and I just forgot about it. And
I would love to see one of those I know it's not Fender, but a Gibson SG.
Oh yes, absolutely. They don't even have a price for that particular Strat.
That's
but
awesome.
I mean, yeah, this one's $10,875.
12,000,
Yeah. the base is 11.9.
I mean, that's crazy.
It's crazy stuff. Anyway,
it's awesome,
I wanted
it's cool.
wanted to share that with you. But then also, the thing that I have used the most since Christmas and was maybe the most excited about getting for Christmas,
the bathroom.
I have used the bathroom so much since Christmas.
Started with the eggnog.
Well, that did happen once, but I'm good now. Yeah. I got an espresso for Christmas.
Oh yeah, I remember you posted that.
It is so good and so much fun, and I mean, I already love coffee, but I am just like, I'm making coffee all the time now.
This is my coffee podcast.
Yeah, right. And I mean, if you can, I recommend getting an espresso. It's just wonderful. Just a nice little, and it's more sustainable too than a what's the other one? The other one that uses pods, the other coffee maker.
Oh, Nespresso?
No.
Keurig?
That's what Keurig. Thank you.
Yeah.
With Keurigs, you just like throw them away. Nespresso, you actually recycle the pods. Just wonderful. I could not recommend it more. So that's it. That's all I got. What do you got?
If you want a pod that you can recycle, we
just go back and forth with the same tips and picks.
If you want to recycle a pod, go to patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast, where you can keep listening to the same thing over and over, all the bonus stuff, all the stuff we do before this episode uncut. It is recyclable because you can literally keep listening over and over and over, and you support the show and help the environment. Patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast for as little as $1 a month. Support it. $5, get all that bonus stuff. If you want to get some merch that hopefully you wear until it falls apart and then you get rid of it the responsible way, this is my bourbon shop. Nope. Bourbonshop.threadless.com.
It is called This Is My Bourbon Shop, so you can Google it and find it that way too. Bourbonshop.threadless.com. Perry's got all the designs up there. If you want to send an email, you can send an email to thisismybourbonshop@gmail.com. If you want to, usually people send us DMs, stuff like that, but maybe you want to send an email. But then if you have something to send us, samples, bottles, snacks, anything, P.O. Box 22609, Lexington, Kentucky 40522. There you go. Send it there. We'll gladly take your package into ourselves. All social media, you can follow the show at My Bourbon Pod. You can follow me at Whiskey Mute. You can follow Perry at PRitter1792. We have a Facebook group. Go there. This is My Bourbon Podcast. If you're listening and want to watch the show, you can go to youtube.com. Perry also goes live every Thursday night. I try to join him when I can, and then do all the stuff that everybody else says to do. Like, comment, subscribe, leave reviews, all the stuff. Nothing can be any worse than what it is, if that makes sense. It can just help. Does that make sense? Nothing can be worse than what it is a very funny sentiment, but you're not wrong. Yeah, do it. I'm tired of people just listening and not participating. Yeah, please help. Participate. Yeah. Okay, great. What? Nothing. I love you. No, I love you. That's an episode. Hopefully we'll be back in person next week. We better. Yeah. I will go get you if I have to next week. Okay. We can record here. We've not recorded an episode in the new studio yet. You better get that fucking puppet out of the way. I don't even like him. He's mean. You don't... The professor is mean. You remember last time we were around each other? He can go away. He's mocking me right now. The professor can go away. Well, don't pay attention to him. Look, he's gone. It's hard not to. Okay.
A big blue puppet sitting there.
The professor can
just
go
because
away.
He's been on some stuff on YouTube. Thinks he's so good.
I know. The professor's fine. Just don't pay attention to him. He's not here. It's just us now.
I don't want to be around that motherfucking puppet.
I've got good lights now too for down here, like professionals, like what you have in the studio.
I mean, as long as there's no puppet, I don't care.
Okay, he'll be gone. Just don't pay attention. Okay, fine. I'll put my hand back up. We'll see y'all next time. Until then, I'm Perry.
I'm Eric.
And this is my Bourbon Podcast.